Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good people, fellow humans. Here we are. That's kind of an interesting combo. Here we are. Aha, what not a bevy. I was hoping you would be here. Here we are Monday, December 29th, 2025. Couple more days and that is it. How are you doing, what not a bevy? How was your weekend? What's happening at work, etc., etc.? Blessed, always blessed. Okay. I take that to mean challenging. Well, here we are. It's Monday, the 29th of December. The year is almost over. This is day one, week one of our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Amazing weekend, amazing work, amazing God. I have to say on that one. Okay, but I'm glad you feel that way. So here we are. Today is, again, day one of week one. We're starting over yet another time, month after month. We grind away at it, polishing it, making our understanding better. And our goal is, over the next 4 weeks, is to be able to answer 2 questions. And do you have the answer for those questions yet, what not a bevy? Do you have the answer to the questions as I use my high-tech cup that I got from daughter Catman Joe? Oops. You gotta get the lights. What happened? What did I do? Did I break it? Okay. So, yeah, high-tech mug that keeps things hot. You just have to learn how to use it. That's the challenge. It's not like the old days where you just pour something hot in a cup, and over time it gets cold. Or you use this, you pour it in here, and it stays warm. Actually, this is my mixing cup. So from there, I go to the high-tech cup. And from the high-tech cup, I go to the low-tech cup. Because I can't drink it when it's scalding hot. Wrong. All right, well, nobody cares about that, and we will take it out in editing. Right. Okay, so let's see. We have 10 days till the taping. 10 days to the taping of the first show. It's going to be a really big shoe. The passing of the torch from Johnny Carson to Jay Leno. Whatever. So exciting. We shall see. Right, you are. And I start school next week, my final class to become a chaplain. And for people who don't know, chaplain's primary job is to help people with their own faith. It is not to proselytize. It is to help them find God. Okay, so then I have 10 weeks of that. So a lot of stuff happening today. The harvest is plenty, the workers are few. Ugh, right. Okay, so again, for the third time, this is day one of week one in our 28-day, our 4-week state pen workbook. neuroscience approach to success. This key thing would be to distinguish it from psychology. It's not a psychology approach. It is a neuroscience approach. And the idea is simple. The better you know how your brain works, and if you're a rational person, the better your brain will work. If you know how it works, you're going to do things so that it works better. Why? Because your life gets better. It's like if you use a hammer for its intended purpose, not intended for. Hammers, you're going to be much more successful than if you use it. Hammers don't, or a socket or something. They work well for pounding things. Tire is the thing that you pound. Okay. If you have a sledgehammer, you generally pound heavy, hard things like metal rods or rocks or concrete. You don't use a sledgehammer to drive nails to hang pictures on walls. All right. Okay. So the idea being, if we know how our brain works, we will use it to work better for us. Right. And we are trying to answer two questions. Who knows what the questions are? Two simple questions. Who am I, and why do I behave the way I do? From a neuroscience perspective. Who am I, and why do I behave the way I do? So, it turns out that if you grow up in a nurturing environment, you tend to believe all problems are solvable. You just have to work. You got to break it down. You got to do this. You got to do that. All problems are solvable. If you grew up in a nurturing home, okay, because there was no problem that couldn't be solved. On the other hand, if you grew up in a home that was tough, let's say financially tough, every problem was just further proof that you never get ahead. There's always going to be something else pushing you down. There's always going to be something else on you, something not good. There'll always be that. And then as you get older, and that gets hardwired, in quotes, hardwired into our brains, when you get older, it's the David Foster Wallace from yesterday. This is water. It's our default setting. Everything that doesn't go right is further proof of something bad. Aha, I knew I couldn't trust you. I was just waiting for that. I knew it was going to happen. Whereas on the other hand, if you grow up in an environment where the basic belief is everybody is good, people are good, then you have misunderstandings. But if people are fundamentally good, you just work forward, you work through it, you start from a position of trust and belief. So we want to, over this period, go back and say, who am I and why do I behave the way I do? And the reality is all the stuff from our past that we can actually remember, and then not being able to remember accurately, those have shaped who we are. The good news is we are not controlled by our past. However, if we don't know that, if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, not knowing, oh, this is why these bad things happened. Something that was way back there, this is why this bad thing happened. Something way back there, I didn't even realize. I took it for granted. that that's how everybody was. Okay, so we want to wind it way back down to a subcellular level and build it back up to answer the two questions. Who am I and why do I behave the way I do? And so we have a lot of beliefs, and then we'll get to our self-identity is made up of our self-beliefs. So if you believe everybody is out to get you, if you believe whatever you have, somebody's going to try to take, if you believe people are there to hurt you, and you have to have your guard up all the time, then every stimulus, those beliefs become the maxims upon which you live. Then the stimulus comes along and your maxim acts upon it in a way that's different than other people. So we want to deconstruct that, build it back in a direction that will help us move forward productively. That's all we're trying to do. So over the next 4 weeks, this week is an introduction overview, what we're doing, big picture stuff. Next week, we're going to dive into the brain. Week after that, we're going to go into other people, because we're going to learn we can't be successful doing it on our own. We need to be good at working with other people, cooperating with other people, because we're going to learn this week that all of the good things that happen in the world are the result of us being able to cooperate flexibly with other people. Right. Cooperate flexibly with large numbers of people. And if you can't cooperate flexibly with large numbers of people, perhaps because you believe you can't trust people because when you were a little kid, life was tough. But we have to be able to work with other people. And then week 4, once we start working with other people, we learn we have to have skills, because there's going to be good days and bad days, and good days and bad days. And we want to have tools to get through them, because the more people we can have working with us in our network, we want our net to work. The more people we have, the more productive we can be and the more successful. And that's all I have to say about that. So let's move on to our worksheet for today. Advice from an 80-year-old: don't burn bridges. You'll be surprised how many times you have to cross the same river. Don't burn bridges, right? So that gets to what we're going to deal with in week 4, right? We are going to have highs and we're going to have lows. We have to be able to get through them without writing people off. Don't write people off. I don't believe in writing people off. That's another way to say don't burn bridges. All right. How about Seth Godin? Warning labels. Oh, let's go back to our theme. The theme of today is put it in writing. Put it in writing. So let's go to Seth Godin, and we will move for warning labels. Label. What is a warning label? It's something that's in writing. On poison in high voltage wires, the label clearly informs us that this can kill us right away. For obvious reasons, these are important labels and generally quite effective. And he has a picture of a sign that says, caution, this sign has sharp edges. Do not touch the edges of this sign. Also, the bridge is out. Haha. Obviously a Photoshop sign. On cigarettes, it's clear that if you smoke long enough, you're going to die, and probably not pleasantly. The warning labels haven't been nearly as effective as taxes in curbing smoking, but they made the issue clear. New York State just passed a law requiring labels on social media. Many of the tactics of online networks make people, especially children, unhappy, perhaps for the long term. Perhaps by highlighting the addictive and manipulative features that cause the most harm, informed consent or avoidance will follow. We probably want to avoid signs like this. That's one. This is caution. Sharp edges. Do not touch the sign edges. Do not touch the edges of the sign. Also, the bridge is out. But I'm wondering if a simple universal symbol could do the job, could get the job done. And that is the non-happy face, the frowny face. I'll call it a frowny face. But I'm wondering if a simple universal symbol could get the job done. Right. You have the happy face, you have the not happy face. We could have the one with the line through it. Warning labels. Okay, again, things that are in writing. Things that are in writing. We'll go back to our worksheet and see that Daily Stoic, Ryan Holiday, the little short here for where to go. Daily Stoic. Yes. Put it in writing. Things that are in writing. Write it down. And coincidentally, the TED Talk, the Jordan Peterson for today is the value of journaling. Writing things in a journal helps you process through the emotions that we have. So we get from Seth Godin, something that's a label, something in writing is very powerful to us. It has power. Stoics, write it down, journaling. Jordan Peterson, journaling. Put it in writing, try it. In this day of access to tools, we don't have to write things down. We can just dictate it, record it. But when you write it down, you have to slow down. You got to think ahead in time, right? Here's what I'm trying to say. This is what the output I want to look like. How do I frame it into words? And then what are the squiggles I can do on paper to cause that to come about? Right. Okay. So today's TED Talk, week 1, day 1, talk number 1, Daniel Amen, Dr. Daniel Amen, very famous for brain scans, doing brain scans. And the basic idea is, how do you know if you don't look? And he's saying mental health professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists, people like that, they're the only ones who treat the organ without looking at it. They don't look at the brain. And Daniel Amen is saying something that is obvious, but not universally accepted by the other side. So he's saying, do a brain scan. Let's see how the brain is working. Let's see if it's working properly. Because if the brain isn't working properly, no amount of talk therapy is going to help or anything else. Let's look at the brain and see what we got going. And then we'll come up with a brain smart program, because the brain can relearn, but we need to see where the damage is. So other doctors take x-rays, they do Instagrams or sonograms or whatever they're called. They do those things to look at it and see what is happening. Dr. Amen used a PET scan. Okay, so here's what he says. The brain is the consistency of soft butter. It's not hard. It's easy to damage. The skull is bony and it has ridges on the inside. So you can damage the brain. So he talks about the five basic ways the brain can be damaged. Number 1, traumatic brain injury. Bang, I banged my head against something so hard that my skull and my brain made contact really hard, and I damaged some neurons. Okay, 1, traumatic brain injury. 2, alcohol. And this is a bandwagon I am now jumping on. Grew up believing wine is food. And as with food, you don't overeat, so you don't overdrink. But now getting to the point of, there could be health benefits to wine, and alcohol, but they could damage the brain. So I'm really shifting towards that other side. And do not drink a lot very rarely, like maybe once a month, but I notice the next morning I don't feel the same. So, alcohol. 3, drugs. The big 3 that our students deal with: traumatic brain injury, they get knocked out, alcohol, and drugs damage the brain. Number 4, something growing on your brain, a cyst, cancer, and as it's growing on the brain, because the skull is a fixed size, as the thing grows, it crushes neurons. So that's number 4. And number 5 is a disease, brain disease, like Alzheimer's, that damages and destroys neurons. Boom. So we learn about that. Number 1, the brain can be damaged. 2, the brain can relearn. It's plastic, has the ability to learn. And 3, the process of learning that with Dr. Amen is called a Brain Smart program. This 4-week program is a Brain Smart program. That's what it is. It is a Brain Smart program. Dr. Amen, most of his Brain Smart programs deal with things that we knew and we want to relearn them or not lose them. We want to repeat them so we don't forget who we are, who we were, things like that. For our purposes, it's fixing the brain to learn skills and tools to help us be successful in this life and get the best trajectory for what happens after that. So Dr. Amen, takeaway, Dr. Amen, Brain Smart program. Brain can be easily damaged. It can be repaired through a Brain Smart program. This is a Brain Smart program. So the number 1 through 10 reasons to participate in this over the next 4 weeks, take it seriously, is it is a Brain Smart program. It is going to help your brain. It's going to give you tools so for the rest of your life, you can do things to help your brain. And helping your brain and understanding how your brain works helps you. And with that, we're going to say, and cut. What not a baby? Cut.